Good evening, Jessica Van Vonderen with ABC News. Millions of Australian women soon won't have to pay the goods and services tax on tampons and pads. The federal government has renewed its push for the products to be exempt from the GST. And it appears that states and territories are finally on board. Here's political reporter Dan Conifer.
It was never going to be Kelly O'Dwyer's most taxing day at work, as the Minister for Revenue and the Minister for Women took an axe to the tampon tax.
Millions of Australian women will benefit. It will mean a little bit of extra money in their pocket at the end of the day, but ultimately it's the right and fair thing to do.
The federal government says applying the GST to tampons is an anomaly that's caused frustration for decades. Protesters threw the products at John Howard and his ministers, even before they introduced the GST.
If you agree to take it off, say, tampons, then within a few days somebody will mount a case to take it off something else. And the whole thing then comes under challenge.
Labor left it for 6 years while in government and took a do-nothing policy to the last election.
If elected, will you drop the tax on tampons?
No.
But the ALP put forward a plan to scrap the sanitary tax this year, leaving the Treasurer in a tricky spot when he wanted to talk about beer.
Your question should be addressed to state and territory treasurers and premiers.
Okay,
and I'd encourage you to do it, because here we're talking about lower taxes on beer.
Scott Morrison must hope that Australia's women have a very short memory, because he has been the blockage to reform.
Some states and territories have been reluctant to give up the millions of dollars in GST revenue. But now every treasurer appears to be on board. They'll vote on the proposal at a meeting later this year.
But the Tasmanian government will enthusiastically support that initiative.
Enthusiastic support for the federal coalition? That's something Queensland's Labor government is still getting used to.
Oh no, well absolutely. I wrote to Scott Morrison quite some time ago to say that Queensland was 100% supportive.
There's no confusion among voters.
I was like, yay, very welcome news, that's great.
Good. Yeah, I don't think it's luxury.
No longer classed as a non-essential, protestations could soon be turning to celebrations. Dan Conifer, ABC News, Canberra.